you've been working towards something, if you're watching this video and you've been working towards something for a month, let alone years, you know, it only makes sense you're going to sit there and be like, no, why would I ever let go? And I think recently I came up against a roadblock that made me understand why people say this a lot more, right? I'd felt that over the last year or so, right, specifically over the course of doing this series where I talk about art every day, I had grown, I don't know if I want to say, I feel like it's a little bit of an awkward wording, but almost too calculated in the way to go about things, specifically about like making art, right? But also just about my daily routine. It felt that it was super, everything was too much about nuts and bolts, right? And I'm sure this is something you can all relate to. You know, if you've gotten really into anything, especially if it's something you're striving towards, like being a better artist than the day before, or, you know, even just things in your personal life, you know, bettering your relationships, trying to do good at your job, any of these things, the second that you approach them so heavily, it's not that the joy gets taken out of them, it's that there's a certain fluidity lost, and I think in that fluidity being lost, a certain quality is also lost, right? A certain ounce of freedom that maybe once brought joy to the work you're doing, or something along those lines gets lost, right? And I felt this specifically in art. I felt that I had become, you know, years ago I stepped away from doing art criticism because I felt it bogged me down how to create art. It gave me all these conceptions that had no place in making something, you know, actually making cool things, right? And I think that over the years, as I'd thought about art, you know, as I've done it, especially on this channel here, a similar course kind of took place, right? Where it's not that I adhered myself to conceptions, but I developed too many of my own opinions on things where it was tough to separate the half of your brain that makes something really fluidly for fun and has like joy that it's infusing into it and all these things, and the part of your brain that is, you know, kind of steps in after you finish making it and sort of analyzes it, right? The childlike part of your brain and the scientific part of your brain, if you will, if we're going with that, the very famous quote of, well, at this point, very famous, I guess it's a newer quote of, create like a child, edit like a scientist, right? And it was a struggle with me, right? Of how do you do that without just like, you know, it's almost like how do you unlearn something, right? Because it does feel like that. It does feel like unlearning when you try to get rid of some of these conceptions.